Guys, this Sunday is pulled pork. This dish is probably the simplest I can make it. It's probably the easiest I can make it. Quite often pulled pork takes hours to make. Slow roasted, it's beautiful. And today we're still going to slow roast it, but I'm going to show you how to do that and also reduce a fraction of the time off of the cooking process and serve it some really zingy springtime sides to go with it. First thing you want to do is prepare the pork shoulder I've got here. Other names like pork butt. You'll get pork shank, but it's like more lower down on the pig's arm, so it's not quite the same sort of meat. So here I have it deboned. Now again, you can leave it on the bone, it will take longer in the oven, and there are arguments that it's tastier on the bone. However, I've got it deboned. The butcher's just strung it up for me as well, so we're going to just take that off of there. The other thing that I do for you is take away the skin, the fat on the top. You can leave the fat on for flavour purposes, but I'm going to take it off today. So you've got your piece of meat here. You notice because it's deboned, it's now coming into different sections. So you've got the different muscles and ligaments coming out here. And with your knife, you want to do long slices across the meat, taking it away from that skin. You need a very sharp knife for this. It will make your life so much easier. Now you can keep this, you can put it in the oven at a much higher cooking point and you'll get a really nice crackling out of it. I'm also going to go through it and just take away a little bit excess of more fat. You don't have to do this, you can keep the fat on, but I like to take it away. And trust me, the end result is just as good, if not better. What I'm also going to do for you is show you how you can slice into the actual piece of meat itself in lengthways like so. Nobody else will show you this. And basically what you're doing is you're reducing the size of the meat, which will reduce the cooking time. If you've got all day, by all means, leave it as one whole thing, leave the fat on everything and marinate it up that way, and you will want to slow roast that for about 5 to 6 hours. However, I'm showing you how you can cut that down to about an hour and a half. Again, you want to slow roast it on a nice lower heat, something like 140 degrees preheated oven, so that you keep the nice juices that come from the meat and it doesn't go dry. A high heat will make it go a little bit dry, but cutting it, I've tried it many times, cutting it like this doesn't change how flavoursome, how tender the meat actually becomes. We've got our pork in a roasting tray and I'm going to make a dry rub for the top of it. So I'm going to go with some sea salt and some smoked paprika. This stuff is key for the flavour profile of this dish. Some olive oil, nice little coating, and then I'm gonna pop in there a whole bulb of garlic. So now you want to cover all of the meat with the marinade that you've got. Massage it in, make sure you get all the nooks and crannies. I love getting messy, I don't really know why. So now you've got all of your pork all snug. It is really that simple. The next thing you want to do is you want to cover with foil completely so that no steam escapes when it's cooking in the oven. And as I say, that's going to go in at 140 degrees, about an hour and a half. So whilst that's doing its thing, we can just have a little wait and start cooking again when we've got about 30 minutes to go on the pork. So we've got half an hour left of our cooking time for our pork. In that time, I'm going to prepare for you a little sweet potato mash and some naked slaw. So we're going to start with the mash. I've got probably the biggest sweet potato I could find. I've washed it and scrubbed at its skin. So I'm going to leave the skin on because the skin is quite nutritious. I'm going to top it and tail it because those pieces are really hard. So we're just going in with nice sort of dice with this. The smaller you cut it, the quicker it will take. When you're boiling potatoes, white potatoes, baby potatoes, sweet potatoes, all the same, in that you need to season the water that you're boiling it in. That will help that seasoning develop flavour all the way through the potato instead of seasoning it afterwards and it just coating it and not really having that depth of flavour. So a golden rule, which you may or may not know about, is the seasoning for that water needs to be as salty as the ocean. Potatoes withstand a lot more seasoning than you think they do, so it will surprise you. If you've ever had it where you've been in the sea and you just take a massive gulp of water accidentally, then you know exactly what it should taste like. To test that, just give it a little stir around, and salty as the ocean. Lid on, high heat, let it do its thing. So now you want to prepare the naked slaw element. I call it naked because I'm not going to put mayonnaise in it. I prefer it, especially where you've got the richness of the pork and the filling nature of the sweet potato. You'll want something zingy, fresh and lightweight. So I've got red cabbage, white cabbage and carrots. So you're going to go right down the centre. And what you might notice with both of the cabbages is that you'll need to discard of the outside. It can be a bit soft, it can be a bit grubby, so we're just gonna chuck it away. So now you want to use your knife and go straight down all the way along your cabbage, both your red and white. You'll see that it's got this root here and you don't want to include that. That's quite bitter and horrible, hard and no good. So we're just gonna go straight down and very nice, fine, thin. Next, simple pimple, we're just going to peel our carrots. Again, you can wash them, keep the skin on. I'm just going to peel them today. And we're going to grate the carrot. To add to your bowl of goodies, I've got here a fresh lemon and I'm just going to zest the lemon. Then I'm just going to cut right into it and that's going to be squeezed into the bowl. A little bit of olive oil, a little bit of sea salt. Now something that's going to vamp it up even more, fresh chives. Chives are an incredibly delicate herb. You need a very sharp knife in order to not smush them, and you want to use the length of the knife to slice through instead of chopping straight down, otherwise you will bruise them and they will discolour very quickly and be a rubbish texture. Once you've chopped through those, they can go into the bowl. These are so nice and fresh, so fragrant, delicate. They remind me of springtime picnics, and it's a beautiful colour to add to the colours you've already got. You're going to eat with your eyes on this one. So once you've done that, all it takes is you to mix it up. So we're going to go in and test our sweet potato, see if it's soft enough, which it is, and now we're going to drain the water away and we're going to mash it up. So we've drained our sweet potatoes and just gonna go through it with a masher. Now here I've got some sunflower seeds and some pumpkin seeds. I like to add these to give a little bit of texture, a little bit of crunch to the soft sweet potato. A little bit of interest when you're eating it. Now it's time to check our pork out. Our pulled pork is nice and tender, and now it's pudding time. So you just want to get 2 forks and you want to shred it. This is so tender. All that flavour. This looks incredible. This is probably one of the most exciting things about this dish for me personally, and that is this. This is caramelised garlic. Some people don't really like garlic very much, but when you roast it with all those juices and all those flavours from the pork and it comes out soft, caramelised, I'll eat this on its own. Screw the pork. First thing I'm going to go for is this gorgeous mash. And then stir that again just before serving. A nice hearty portion of slaw. Some pulled pork. I'm gonna top this with some seeds, just for a little extra something something. So there you go, a nice, hearty, healthy, delicious pork dish. All the flavours, colours, textures you'd want. You've got enough here actually to make for a dinner party or your meal prep, or just all for yourself.